One person I interviewed believes that Mayo was connected to, at that time, some kind of CIA connection. Is there any word of that? Have you heard any of that? That there's a tie into that?
Well, after 9/11, it was common knowledge throughout the higher level trafficking community that Sinaloa had been approached. And word on the Mexican side was no Arabs are to go into the U.S. Like they shut down the border, notify them about any Arabs trying to get into the country. So some agency contacted them. Now, who did it? No one knows. I'm not going to speculate. But there was an effort on their part to make sure that no Arabs were coming across the border. Because like I said, for 7 years, they fed information to DOJ and to the DEA for the purposes of taking out their enemies.
Right.
Now, there was a second incident where the attorney in San Diego, after doing this for 7 years, he wanted to step down. He's an older guy. He wants to retire. So they needed to put a new substitute that's going to be the conduit for information. Well, Zambada put his son in that position. So Vicente Zambada, the heir apparent, one of the biggest drug lords in all of Mexico, he's meeting with DOJ officials. He's meeting with DEA officials. And the American government officials are operating in Mexico without declaring their presence. And so this whole thing blew up because there was a meeting in DF in Mexico City where Zambada left the meeting with the Americans, gave them the intel that they were there for. And as he's walking out of the hotel, some cop notices him. Like, this is one of the most wanted men in Mexico. So he calls for backup and they arrest Zambada Jr., Vicente. And so when they arrest him, he's like, what are you guys doing? I'm here helping you. Like, what do you mean you're helping us? You're under arrest. See, this was an enormous story in Mexico. Didn't get so much coverage here in the United States. But there is not a Mexican national in Mexico who is not convinced the American government created Sinaloa. Today, it's mostly through China. So again, it's not going to really impact that aspect. But the individuals that are physically collecting the bulk cash, they're now participating in terrorist-related activities. So they're going from 30-month sentences to 20-year sentences. And so you can see how it's going to create a tremendous disruption on the American side of the operations if our government plays it wisely.
Did you see the other day a video came out from one of the cartels mentioning that they have no intentions of creating any harm in America?
They have a zero tolerance policy for any violent acts in the United States. They do not target police. They do not target law enforcement. They do not target judges, prosecutors, witnesses, even cooperators. The only thing you can do in the United States to engender an act of violence is theft. Everything at that level is at the consignment level. So if you have a 200-kilo account, they expect you to come back with their $3 million. If you rip them off, they'll come see you.